The 𝗟cie Titan timepiece is the first NFT watch ever created. These one-of-a-kind timepieces paired with their NFT authentication provide a revolutionary method to fight back against the counterfeit watch industry. Along with the paired NFT authenticity comes maintenance and history records stored on the Cardano blockchain. Finally, this is the perfect gift to pass down to one of your sons or daughters who take up that crypto family mantle. Check out the 𝗟cie Titan timepiece down below in today's video description. What is going on, guys? Welcome. Another Thursday night live stream. I'm not alone. What's going on, Mark? Welcome to the stream.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. So we're going to do introductions here. Live chat, Mark. Mark, live chat. It's like the icebreaker, right? It's like, all right, guys, you know, how do we all come here today? Welcome.
Hi, my name's Mark, and I'm a cryptoholic.
That's right. It's like, hey guys, my name's Hobbyist and I have a problem. Guys, quick audio check in chat. Let me know how I sound, how Mark sounds. Let me know if somebody's too loud, too soft. We'll go through all the adjustments tonight. Those of you guys not familiar with this guy, Mark, Coastal Crypto. There you go. Introductions. There it is.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So
Okay.
I am Mark. I'm from Coastal Crypto. I run a mine. I sell equipment. One would classify me as a reseller.
Yeah, there we go. That's true. He's the guy who hooks me up when I need the hookup. Like, hey, Mark, hook me up, man. I need something. Help me out here. Give you the good stuff. He's my dealer. He's my dealer, guys. Okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So, guys, we're really...
problem.
That's right. So, guys, we're really just going to hang out tonight. We're going to shoot the shit. We're going to talk crypto, what's going on. You know, we'll take questions from chat. There's nothing formal. You know, you guys know most of my streams, if I'm not cleaning the GPU and hanging out or building a rig, we're just hanging out, having a good time. First off, as I always do on my streams, go over my IPA that we're drinking tonight. I got this from my barber. My barber and I have a good relationship. I don't know if your barber, my barber and Mark, they provide beer. They have beer on tap, and this is a traditional barber, old school, straight razor shave, stuff like that. So him and I talk IPAs all the time. So today he got me this Shady Monks Brewing Company Kodiak River Brown Ale. So that's what we're drinking tonight. For all of you IPA beer snobs in chat, this is what we're drinking tonight. So what about you, Mark? What do you got? Water? You got juice? You got soda? What are you drinking?
Well, I ran out of tequila, and I didn't realize that until it was too late, because I'm a huge tequila drinker. But yes, no, I do have my water.
Okay.
And then I just grabbed whatever my wife had in the fridge. So don't drink shame me right now, but I'm drinking Truly.
Shame. I like it. So tequila, I enjoy tequila. What are some of your top 2 tequilas? Doesn't have to be the most expensive, but what's your go-to?
No. My go-to, honestly, is clear Hornitos. Like, it's the cheap stuff, but it tastes delicious.
Okay.
I like to splash a little bit of ginger ale in it, or ginger beer, and that is delicious. With a touch of lime, it's probably by far the best drink I've ever came up with. Or
for me, it'll probably be Patron Silver or 1800 are my tequila. So I'm a little bit of like I wouldn't say tequila snob because it's not like I know tequila well, but it's just like when I was getting into tequila originally, it was 𝗍𝐸 and I didn't know any better. And 𝗍𝐸 has like that bite to it when you know it's not like good quality. Yeah. And then as I started to get into like Patron Silver and 1800, I was like, oh, I don't want, like, I literally can have a drink and go, this is not the tequila I ordered, because it's like they give you like the bottom shelf 𝗍𝐸 and you're like, I want my drink to be smooth, not to have a bite to it.
No, anytime we go to a bar or like we just go for brunch or something, the waitress or waiter is always every time they ask you want a drink, you want to start off with something, whatever, and I go to my default tequila ginger ale, and they're like, okay, what kind of tequila? And every time I always say, I don't say silver, I don't say gold, I say, just give me a clear tequila.
Oh, there you go. Then you know it's a little bit. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, okay. And sometimes that still confuses them because they're like, well, all tequila's clear. And it's like, no, well, one's brown and one's not. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Wow, this is like, you can tell, like, this is definitely a darker, like it's a brown ale, so it's a little bit heavier there. Welcome to the drinking and alcoholic stream. My name is 𝗏𝐵𝑖stMiner, joined by Mark tonight. Tonight we're going to talk, all right, so let's talk crypto a little bit. So recently, you guys actually helped me out with a video. If you guys aren't familiar, I actually was chatting with Hive OS about testing their L7 Hive OS firmware. And really funny, the first L7 that I told Hive OS, like, hey, I don't have an L7. And they're like, no problem, we'll add one to your farm. So they added one to my farm, and I went around testing it and stuff. Well, I'm like, all right, how far can I push this? So I pushed it to 11, literally to 11, like when you're looking at your gigahertz. And it crashed the L7. And after that, it kept overheating all the time. So I was like, all right, I can't use this. Do you have somebody else? And then they like got me connected with you guys. And it was really funny because they're like trying to orchestrate things. And finally, I'm like, all right, whose L7 is this? I'm like, oh, it's Coastal. I'm like, great, I'll message Mark directly. I'm like, I don't need to go through Hive OS. Just let me talk to, like, I know who Mark is. I'll talk to Mark.
Yeah.
So that worked out awesome. So I really do appreciate it. So you guys had a 9.3 gigahash L7 on Hive OS. And what was your guys' experience using the Hive OS firmware? Loved it, hated it, meh? Kind of what were your thoughts on it?
We are huge fans of Hive. I know people have like their grift with Hive and some of the things that they do or don't provide.
Yeah.
We've built a really solid relationship with them to the point to where we pull our affiliate code through like physical firmware so we can add it to clients' machines at our farm and show them how big we're growing, things like that. They ask us for testing. Like recently, they started to incorporate Gold Shell into their ASIC hub, and they asked to test a few of our Gold Shells to get that into the ASIC hub, and we helped accommodate that. We've been talking to them back and forth almost since the company has been a thing.
Really? Wow,
Crypto, that is. So we've built a solid relationship. We keep telling people, especially now with the firmware really shows the firmware they provided to us that we offer on our website. It's free. It shows essentially how big we're growing so we can deepen our relationship with Hive a little bit more. So when we come to them and say like we have 50 X5s that we want to throw on, we can then ask that question and get a priority because we've grown the farm enough to where grown the farm and the following enough to be like, hey man, like if I get this here, I can spread it, like a virus on.
I mean, I know. I mean, it's interesting because like many people might not know the Hive OS team's actually guys based in Ukraine, and with everything going on in Ukraine, like I can only imagine where Hive would be if they weren't in the situation with Russia right now. Just like I look at Hive and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much we could do with this. Hurry up. You know what I mean? But then I have to have a little bit of a reality check and be like, because like Hive OS right now, like they do well on the GPU side, but on the ASIC side, I think they're really lacking when it comes down to widespread accessibility, like monitoring my gold shells, like all these little gold shell minis that like we as home miners have. It's like, oh my gosh, like just give us the ability, even in ASIC Hub, I'd love the ability to just know if it's up down. And like, those are things that drive me nuts. It's like, I don't need a full blown firmware. Like I don't need an L7 firmware or an S19J Pro firmware. It's like, just allow it to be added to ASIC Hub so we could do some monitoring and stuff like that, which would be really nice. And I know I know that's in the works, at least it was in the works for this year when I was talking with some of their engineers, but it was like, those are like some of the things I look at where it's like, I hate having all these mini ASICs and then having to look a million places to monitor them. Now I know Goldshell has their like own little sauce system, but like, I think you and I can agree, most of us are in Hive OS.
Yeah. If it's not Hive, it's some other firmware that we've used or some other GUI. Like here at the mine for like all of our clients, and just for us to make things a little bit more simplistic because of just it's the API itself provides a lot of support. We use Foreman, and there's a very limited amount of machines that are not supported on it that we can monitor.
I've heard of Foreman before. I've never used it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, again, you got your takeaways and your positives. So it's, flavor. It works for our mine. It works at scale. So it's really, we like it for what we use it for.
So let's talk about your mine a little bit there. We'll kind of migrate into that. So guys, right now, Coastal Crypto, they have a an e-commerce web platform and a reseller for ASICs. Awesome. But on top of that, you guys not only have a crypto mining farm, like you guys actually are a host and you actually have your own farm. So kind of give us the rundown. Where's that located, at least geolocated, and like what does that look like from a high level, your current infrastructure?
It's a mess. No, I'm just kidding.
Join the club, right? I hear you.
Yeah. No, we're growing at a drastic pace.
Organically, mind you.
Whoa, there's John. John decided. John, are you? John, we got a random voice and it's in the back of the head. John, are you joining with video or no? Just audio? Trying to figure out.
I got video, but I can talk audio. It's all right.
Yeah, just do audio because
Mark's a lot prettier than I am, so you can leave Mark's face.
Ah, nice. All right, cool. So guys, quick interruption here. We have John from Coastal Crypto as well. He's hiding behind Mark somewhere in that crowd of craziness. Yeah, he's back in there somewhere. So welcome, John. Thanks for coming to hang out with us, dude.
Well, correct me, John, with anything that I say with the mine. But essentially, me and John started with like 5 L3s. We just bought it from some random Alibaba in China. Came over, they were just trashed. We had to clean them. There's pictures of it on some of our socials somewhere of us really taking a toothbrush to the ASIC chips, reseating, heat sinks, things like that. John had a community a little bit larger than mine when it came to the crypto scene, and we decided that, why not share everything that we're getting to them, right? And so we got a few people that were like, hey, my power is outrageous here. What's your power over there? They realized that we went and got a warehouse. It was a small warehouse, 3,000 square feet. We really just were going to build our own stuff out and just leave it, and everybody else, just me and John going on it. And then, people were asking, like, what's your power rate there? Things like that. And as we were conveying, power rates and just having conversations, we realized we need... Oh, there he is.
That's what I was doing. I'm sorry. I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. We're going to make it work.
We need... Where was I going? Oh, we need to have a more detailed conversation. We need to start sharing our facility to the people that are asking and having this conversation with us. And so, we got somebody from Norway right now, Amsterdam. He decided he was going to buy a bunch of machines, overloaded us really quick. When it came to just size, like he helped us grow to a substantial. We had a friend here that had a neighbor who wanted to get into mining, and he
isn't that how it usually is though? It's everybody's like hearsay, you know what I mean? Like it grows out. So your facility now, what is that? How many is it? Mostly ASICs, or is there some? Okay, so it's mostly ASICs. How many ASICs you guys think you're running right now? Just a guesstimate.
few hundred.
A few hundred. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just trying to sizing it up. So how do you guys handle airflow with such a facility that size?
I built a box.
I built the box. All right.
No, it's a growing, a constant evolving system.
Okay.
You know, having to separate hot and cold aisles, making sure that, you know, you're not too negative of pressure, too high of pressure coming through the machines, because you can overload the fans. So we built basically a 20 by 8 by 8 box, roughly.
Okay. So you went with like a room inside of a warehouse type of style then?
Correct.
Okay. I heard that's very common because it allows you to control the environment.
Yeah, it's a 23,000 square foot warehouse, and it's got 75-foot ceilings. So,
wow,
I mean,
yeah,
we could just have let it, you know, rise and go out the building that way. But we definitely wanted to localize it, and as we built it out, we can go bay by bay by bay, and really, you know, dive deep into extracting and exhausting the air, leaving enough room for networking and everything else around it, and repairs and all that stuff. So it's been fun. It's been a challenge, that's for sure. We're definitely going to be going a different route with our new building. We're going up and out instead of, you know, a room out the side.
So you're going to do like a chimney style. I've seen like when I was at Crypto Caverns up in New York, they have like a chimney style. So each aisle has their hot aisle with a chimney that goes up literally and out. And so it just allows you to do that. And then what they have is they have a little bit of that recirculating to help out with like winter time, especially with upstate New York. But that's great. So then your new facility, I'm glad you brought it up, which is awesome. Virginia, right? Why Virginia? Is that local for you guys, or what pulled you guys to Virginia?
I moved here. I moved to Virginia about 2 years ago.
Okay.
From Florida, and it just kind of, you know, organically happened that way. Found some good space, found some decent power, and it's just been, you know, organically growing hand over fist since we started.
Yeah. So right now we have a couple things going on because of our current location, what John refers to as the castle when you're watching our content. There is some major construction going on because it's just an old building, and there's some things that might impede us here in the near future. So our current landlord, owner of the building, just recently bought another building that has roughly 5 to 7 megawatts available to it with its own substation. So we're going to end up moving there. That'll be in May or sooner, a little sooner maybe. And with that build out, we're going to try to occupy the entire power consumption of that as we're continuing to do our build out. And then we have our second build that we've been documenting little by little and just kind of going through, and it's going to be our 35 megawatt facility. This property already has a 2.5 megawatt transformer on the actual property. We're going to be actually taking that and expanding it out to 35 megawatts. And that is going to have room for containers, if so choose be. There's 10,000 square feet worth of space to where we can do some type of immersion, or if people just want their rigs inside, because they don't want to go through containers, things like that. And then we're also going to attempt to do the obvious move and build a localized data center on this property.
Wow, yeah, it's pretty extensive. I found that more and more groups are looking at lots with substations, because a lot of these lots with substations, there's like nothing else going on them. Like traditionally it's a lot that has like an easement on it with the substation on it, and then it's like not being done, like nothing's on it. It's either the lot's entirely abandoned or there's nothing to it. And as a home miner myself and a dreamer in regards to those things, it's like, you know, you drive around. Does anyone else drive around and you're like, ooh, that building would be a good farm? Or I wonder what their power is like. Or like, oh, there's like in my town, there's a substation and an old, huge brick building, and I just saw it went for sale. And no, I'm not buying it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I have passed by it many times and went, wonder if I can just like be like, hey, can I drop like a container on here, and you're not using it, it's abandoned pretty much, like who do I got to talk to? So I'm really happy to hear that. I've heard, yeah, well, and that's what it is. It's like I've literally started to, not gonna lie, eye up abandoned building, like buildings that look abandoned, and it's like, can I come in and offer somebody $500 a month to say, I will, you know what I mean? Like, you're not using it, it's been sitting for 10 years. Let me give you $500 a month and cut some massive holes in your building for my airflow. So no, I think that's phenomenal that you guys are doing that and expanding, especially right now, which is, I think, good. Now, was your biggest struggle with the Virginia lot nailing down a power contract of some kind? Because that's the first thing. Like, the first thing is not a building or any of that. It's like, what are my power rates? Because that determines operational costs and success.
Yeah, the power rates in Virginia are not friendly to the consumer.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a power broker that we deal with.
Okay.
At our level, you definitely need to get a power broker. They are very hard to find. So you need to know somebody that you need to know somebody that knows somebody. And basically, you need to vet them also so they can speak intelligently with the power company, because power companies still they don't realize that they're competing for power now. Regardless of any power company that you're talking to, they don't care. They think they're stuck in their old ways, and they just think, hey, this is what it is. Like, you know, they don't realize that, especially with like mines that are of our size or larger. Like, oh, dude, I'll just pick up and I'll go down the street. Yeah. Like, there's another power company or there's a co-op, you know, they're gonna give me a better power rate. Yeah, 40 minutes away. We're just gonna pick up and go. So you need to, in our scenario with our power broker, like, we literally have to show the power company. So right now we're with one power company at the castle. When we go to this new facility in May, 40 minutes away from where we currently are, they're under a completely different municipality and power company, and they're providing a little bit lower rate for us. So we need to show our current power company, because the 35 megawatt facility that we have is literally a stone's throw away from where the castle is.
Oh, it's so painful.
I can literally throw a rock over to it. So us moving into this other district, like, we physically have to show them, like, look, we're not playing around, man. You're going to compete for our business or you're not. And it's just one of those things that are unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is you guys come to the table with, like, a significant amount of history. So, like, when you're going to these power companies, you have history behind you for wattage and usage. So, you know, hey, we're coming to the table with X. And then you can hopefully go ahead and yeah, that's always, man, that's rough. Now, the castle, what state is that located in?
It's all in Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. Oh, okay. So you guys are entirely Virginia then. Got it. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear that. I mean, the electric rate battle is such a challenge, which I totally understand. I mean, I think even as it's funny, like, you guys are what home miners deal with, but on a bigger scale. Like, home miners, when it's like, oh, like power rates and competitions and stuff, and like, oh, like, I just got done. I haven't told anybody yet, so I'll share it here while I'm at it. I'm building another shed. Shed number 2, Shed 2.0, is literally getting built, and it's not on my property. I'm actually partnering with my electrician. He literally lives 5 minutes away. He's a full-time electrician. So all my electrical is getting covered with wiring and all of that. We're building a 10 by 20 dedicated ASIC shed. Fully ASIC, fully set up. He has a shed right now, completely empty. I'm actually visiting it on Saturday. And he's running all the electrical. So he's going to run a sub panel out to it. We're going to build it out entirely. We're going to take my shed, which my proof of concept works. I actually have a few people in the community that have started copying my shed, like build for build, identically, on purpose, intentionally. And it's awesome to see, like, it being successful. But yeah, so I'm expanding there. So all of my ASICs are going there, and I'm keeping all GPUs here. So I'm going to triple my GPU size here, and then all my ASICs are going to go there. And he doesn't even crypto mine. He's been sitting on 3090s for like a year and hasn't built his rig yet. He's like he's too busy as an electrician. I'm like, dude, just give it to me. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. But just as you guys had talked about with electric rates, that was my first step. Was like, okay, we have a shed, so we don't have to pay for, you know, facility, you know, small scale here, guys, not full mine like these guys. But then the next question is like, great, we need to nail down your power. So I actually worked with the local supplier. His electric bill right now, every month, he's never home. He's a single guy. It's $80 a month. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I went, dude, all right, let me see if I can lock you in with an electric company like I did with a supplier. In Pennsylvania, you have distributor and supplier, and you can lock in your supplier. So his distribution is like 4 cents, but his supply is just like whatever. I locked in his supply for 12 months, $100. $100,
wow.
which means I'm going to build out my matrix like I did for my setup, but I'll be able to tell, like, okay, like, to give people an idea, I use 20,000 watts and pay about $1,100 a month. I'm going to be able to do 20,000 watts there for like $300 a month because it's locked in. It's $99 a month no matter what you use on your supply side. So it was like a huge win. But yeah, it's...
Yeah.
I'm ready to...
on the industrial side. So.
No, yeah. Well, it's only for 12 months. It's a 12-month contract. And then after that, they come back and go... Because what they do is they look at your 12-month history. Well, his 12-month history is $80 a month. So I lock that in, and then I abuse the hell out of it for the next 12 months. And then they'll come back like they did with me, and they go, dude, you can't do $80. Like, you know what I mean? They're like... So yeah, it's $1,100 a month now. So yeah, I'm excited for it, and that's what it is. But yeah, isn't it nuts that like we as an industry are locked down to an electric rate that like we have no control over, like, and there's very little competition anywhere.
Well, the good thing is when you get into the sizes of our scale, the PPA really helps, and that's a power purchase agreement. So as we build out our 35 megawatts, we have a lot of nice to haves and dreams and things like that of you know, going 100% green at some point or another. And the land itself has a lot of abundant opportunity to put green somewhere on it, more than just solar. So we're talking and communicating and trying to negotiate with suppliers that can basically buy some of our energy back as we don't use it, because that's really going to be where like our power gets down, like to where like some of the bigger guys in Texas are.
Yeah, Virginia has a great program for green incentives. It's a 1-to-1 credit. So for every kilowatt we generate green that we don't use, it gets put on the grid like a battery. You know, the grid becomes our battery. And it's a 1-to-1 credit that we can pull and draw from as we please. So it's nice.
Yeah, it's funny because like I looked like locally, like I have solar here at my home before mining, which is really funny. It used to cover my, you know, home electric. It was awesome. It was good. And then I picked up mining and it eats up that in 2 seconds. It's gone. But the funny thing is I started to look into talking with these electric companies. I mean, that's the thing I can recommend to people is like, you got to reach out and talk to these different electric companies and actually get out there. And found that if you needed to go green, that locally for me, the electric companies actually charge you more per kilowatt. Like, it's like, oh, I need to go green. Like I'm in an industry, I need to go green, need the green credits. They're like, no problem. We're going to abuse the heck out of you and we're going to charge more. And it's like, wow, like we got the federal government trying to push green, and then you got your local power companies like, yep, go green, do it, but we're going to charge you more. And it's like, oh, like it drives me nuts. You think in a utopian world it would be significantly cheaper in order to encourage green energy, and that's absolutely not the case.
You bring that up, and in the area that we're in, we're surrounded by 3 different dams that generate power, hydro plants, and we can opt in to having that just provide energy to our grid or our mine. And they literally put on there that if you want this option, you can have it, but it's an extra $0.0150. Like, really?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it comes down to numbers, and it's like, all right, electric is your biggest operating expense. So it's like, whoever's giving me the cheapest, I don't care if it's green or not, is whatever's the cheapest. And 9 out of 10 times it's not green. Like, let's be honest here. So that makes a lot of sense. So that's exciting. Well, that's cool for you guys for expansion. So you guys talked a lot about the fact of like mobility, with the fact of like needing to be able to move with competition. So are you looking to go more like containerized in order to give you guys that mobility? or no, you're looking to still do a warehouse because you still, at least in your minds, have that flexibility to move if needed?
Even looking at a warehouse type system, we've kind of, through trial and error, have a decent system down using custom built racks, where it's easy to pick up a rack, disassemble it, and move it someplace else.
Okay.
You know, so containers are really nice, but you can't move a container full of machines. So you still got to take the machines out no matter what. Just like you can't move a rack with machines in it. You got to, take the machines out before you disassemble the rack. Same concept. It's just, one's 40 foot long, and a wall of miners can be 100 feet long. It's just size and scalability. So we try to be as mobile as we possibly can until we own the properties that we're invested in outright. Once we own things outright, then it's let's bolt stuff to the ground and you go ham on it.
Yeah. I've actually seen, curiosity. Before I decided to do Shed 2.0, I actually started to look into cost of shipping containers to find a spot to drop one and build it. Plus, it's content. Like, I'm a content creator too, so it's like being able to document that process. I was always interested in the container side, and there's always that interest there. So. Well, cool. So what is in a utopian world, what is your timeline for this facility that you guys were just talking about, the substation on it?
So, yeah, in a utopia, no, we needed to be there yesterday.
Okay.
The building with the 5 to 7 megawatts on it, we plan to enter that building no later than May 1st.
Wow, that's like
everything
right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that have just unforeseen circumstances that happened at the castle with the foundation and things like that. We just need to go. So luckily, this opportunity came up. We already are in good relationship with the landlord, the owner of our current building, who now owns this other building. And so just making the move is just a matter of taking one lease and putting it onto that one for the most part. And make it simplistic. It's more than that, but... so that no later than May 1st is really the goal. There may be some hiccups every time we have some move going on and we start to put it in, broadcast it in the world, things kind of escalate a little bit quicker and faster than we always anticipate. That's what happened at our last location when we said we wanted to start hosting. Literally took a 400 amp panel and all the way up. Max it out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We got to move. So we moved to a facility, the castle, which had 1.5 megawatts. We had planned on putting 5 megawatts on the actual ground there and redoing the electrical to the whole building, because we are technically in a lease to own situation with this building.
Oh, okay.
And we got to 1.5 megawatts literally within months on accident. We just took too much on to that we could chew, I guess. And so we've been basically balancing. John has basically been balancing our entire mine for everybody that's been rolling in, and we've been taking on a few new clients here and there as we've been balancing everything out on a 1200 amp panel that we have. So this new facility already has a bus bar system in place, already has switch gear, all the electrical porn you can think of. It has it in this building.
Well said, by the way. Well said, by the way.
Yes.
Yep. 100%.
So basically, all we're going to be coming in is we're going to be taking some drops that we custom made that are like 50 amp to 100 amp. We even have a few that are 160 amp that just drop down to a PDU, hook it up to the bus bar, and bring it down, and then have our rigs or just line up and ready to go. Cool. And I would say within a week of us getting in the building, we'll be 100% of where all of our hosts are there, and then thereafter we'll be adding, and we've already started a list where people are. Our DMs are blowing up right now. It's pretty crazy.
So I think with the biggest thing you guys learn, it sounds like you guys have learned a lot from moving from your last farm to this one, which is good. One being electrical and mobility, but let's talk airflow. We talked about you talked a little bit about your struggles at your current facility. What's your goal at this facility for airflow? Are you going to do more of a passive intake wall, massive passive intake wall with, large 40,000 CFM fans on the exhaust side, or kind of what are you envisioning with this new setup?
I want to capture as much exhaust pressure as we possibly can. I want a negative
pressure
hot aisle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to keep air being pulled passively through the fans.
Okay.
You know, that way there's not as much draw on the ASIC fans itself. I mean, roughly 120 millimeter ASIC fan, you're looking at 264 CFMs times 4 for like S19. So the numbers climb pretty quickly. That's a lot of airflow that's just being dumped out. There are systems out there using like the Venturi effect to capture some of this air and, you know, recycle some of the exhaust to recycle energy, wind turbine type of stuff. I like to tinker. I'm very DIY, so I you know, have some big
good
ambitions.
for you, man. That's awesome.
You know, I can climb on this roof and cut my own hole and do what I got to do. You know, test my theory. But it's definitely going to be a tighter, you know, air, more constrained is what we're going to go for.
Okay.
You know, how we're going to mount the machines, how we're going to, you know, face them fan-wise. All those little intricate things make a huge difference. Whether you're standing a machine up vertically or laying it down horizontally. If your fans are all facing the same direction, you know, I'm, you know, cocking a machine at 45 degrees versus having it, you know, pointed dead nuts at each other. You know, making sure they're all facing out.
You're angled,
Right. There's all these little, you know, nuances that make such a huge difference. So, you know, now that we have this facility that we're moving to where it's a cleaner space, the ceilings are lower, the bus bar system's already in place, it really will allow us to calculate and dive deeper into the exhaust side of things. Because when you get to these kind of scales with these larger facilities, you do have to start calculating airflow, CFMs, vacuum pressures, things like that. It's a whole. I mean, I should have gone back to school at this point for all this stuff. But
yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think it's funny because like as a home miner, like everybody's like just throw exhaust at it, but people really forget that like, and I've done this in my shed. Like I'm actually gonna be doing this weekend. Is like I have so much exhaust available to me. Like I have 4 in that little tiny 6x8 shed. I have 4 2500 CFM fans, so 10,000 CFM. I run one of them. It was complete overkill, but I was like, I'm never going to have to suffer with like not having enough airflow. Well, now I'm in the reverse side of it. I have so much exhaust that I don't have enough intake. So it's like breathing through a straw is what happens. And people don't realize if I just go ahead and take one of my exhaust fans and crank it, right? The temperature in the shed actually rises. And people don't realize that like when you increase your negative airflow too much, you actually cause a vacuum effect and temperatures rise. So for me, like I need to add so much more intake, passive airflow with my filters and stuff like that, just in order to do that. My goal is to try to get 2 fans to run in the summer. So that means I need twice as much intake airflow. So like, that's what I love. Like I love looking at airflow. I love airflow because it's literally rocket science. And one situation doesn't work for everybody. My camera just turned off. But that's all right. I'll get it back on. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that's crazy to me. So do you guys struggle with airflow at your current facility? Like with your intake?
I think it's been a constant struggle. I don't even want to say like it's been a struggle. It's been a constant thing that we have to address. I think with our castle, John really hit a sweet spot with how we set this up. Just because like the way that our current build out is we have basically we built a Connex container out of and made it, you know, a room, right? And we have one 11,000 CFM fan, big guy, that just sucks the air out, and our intake is all of the ASIC miners. So
well, what's the pulling from? The building then?
Yeah, like so they're pulling from inside the building.
And then I assume the building, though, you're going to have some type of intake to come into the building then.
If we were to stay and build out additional spaces, yes, we would have to say open up the roof or add additional, you know, doors across the aisleway. But where there's only one build out, it doesn't take up enough space to really constrict anything.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, this is the stuff I love. Like when I watch like videos of people doing like, you know, like mines or smaller mine type of things, it's like this is the stuff I look at. It's like, all right, how are they doing their intake? How are they doing their exhaust? Because like that's your biggest challenge is like after you overcome electrical and everything, it's like, All right, now how are you dealing with airflow? Like that's like the next biggest challenge there. So very cool. So would you guys say, you guys taking, I don't want to call it pre-order, but are you guys building a list now for potential clients for your new facility?
Yeah. We're probably a few handfuls deep on some smaller miners because we at this point we really need power consumption. Not necessarily for a lower rate, but just to hit some goals down the road. So we don't have a limit as to like how many you can come in. We've had a few people hit us up, hey dude, I just have one machine. Yeah. I just want to, can I plug it in? And things like that. And we're more than happy to take it, but unfortunately you got to wait till May. Right now we're really looking for a few clients that are at least 1/4 of a megawatt. That's about 80 to 100 machines, just depending on your machine.
Oh, I got you. No problem. I got it right out here in my shed. I got you. Let's do business.
Yeah. And essentially we're looking for them to help us basically get into the building with ease, if that makes sense.
Because you need a minimum power usage, like as you said, with the power. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. We're transparent with all of our finances for the most part. We're not going to give away our account numbers or anything like that, but the way we've kind of have it structured, 2.5 megawatts, 2 megawatts, covers rent for the building. And then everything on top of that is just, more power, more expandability for us.
Yep.
So we try to keep, it's very slim margin for us, and we play really close to the chest, but we don't want to take, we hated what happened with other hosting facilities that we've been a part of, that we've tested out. You lock your miners up for 12 months, 24 months, and they don't get turned on for half time. Yeah. With us, you pay for what you use. That's it.
You must be talking about 𝗏𝐽𝑠 Mining and some of those other ones out there. I mean, come on now, jeez.
No names.
Yeah, we're no name. We're not gonna roll nobody in the bus.
Come on now, come on. No, that's cool. I mean, I think it's great. Like this is the stuff I love. I haven't said anything yet, but I'm actually flying out to a facility on Monday. And this is the type of stuff that I've never been to a facility like this. I won't give away too much, but this is the stuff I'm so interested in, is infrastructure and cooling and power. Like, as you said, this is like miner porn to me. It's like, yeah, the ASICs are an ASIC. They all look exactly the same. Like, let's be honest here. But it's like everything else is like the stuff that really sets things apart. And that's really what I'm most interested in. So very cool. So yeah, so if people are interested in reaching out to you guys, what's the best form to reach out to you guys to say, even just spark conversation on like, hey, I got one unit, MOQ1. What's the best way to reach out to you guys?
Either go to our website at coastalcryptomining.com or hit us up on Twitter, coastalcrypto11, and slide into our DMs.
I like it. Cool. If one of you guys can, post your Twitter in chat, because I know you guys are trying to grow your Twitter. So feel free to throw that in chat. That'd be good. We got 111 people in chat right now. They can go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever you do on Twitter, go for it, which is cool. What I'm going to do is, guys, we're going to chat a little bit about Caspa here, because Caspa is like the buzzword right now, right? A little bit about that. So you guys dropped some decent news this week, actually, on the Caspa front when it comes down to that. So I'm not going to spoil too much of it. You want to kind of give us the rundown as to kind of what you guys had on Twitter this week regarding Caspa?
I guess the cat's out the bag, huh? Yeah, so
yep.
We tried to limit it to our community, but one of us got a little too excited. And
it's like, bring it in, let's go.
Yeah. So it went out, bad case of telephone is what I said on our Twitter, but so yes, the M2, the Malt Miner M2 is an existing FPGA similar to the Osprey. The Osprey is a little bit more efficient. However, as we get our hands on it with the orders that we are facilitating, I think that, well, one, we're going to tinker with it. So yeah, when we get it, we're going to try to put Team Red Miner on it. And I just have this hunch that if we do put Team Red Miner on it, it's more than likely going to be just as, if not more efficient than the Osprey. That's just I just have this gut feeling that that's going to happen.
What does it have on it to start with? Like what? Because I know it has 2, 4, 5 different. It looks like bit streams that it supports or that are on it right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there's a blanket operating software. It's going to come with the Caspa bitstream, but you can go and find these other developers that provide a bitstream for it. And so this is where my hunch comes into play.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure we can flash Team Red Miner on this, and we're gonna and we can probably get more efficiency out of it. These are just numbers that was provided by the manufacturer on their own bitstream that they built, which probably has their own dev fees, so they can get paid. So on and so forth. At the end of the day, it's still an FPGA. So
it's just in an ASIC chassis is pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
How did you guys come across this? Did they reach out to you guys, or did one of you guys stumble upon it?
So I had asked a couple weeks ago. Me and John had been talking about, hey, dude, FPGAs, mainstream, they're coming for Caspa. We've been talking about this on our channel for almost a year at this point, I think.
Wow.
And we were like, hey, the ASICs would more than likely be just around the corner. And so I've been dealing with my suppliers that I deal with when we buy equipment for clients and things like that, or pushing into the farm for hosts. And every now and then, it's hey, have you heard anything? Like, what's happening ASIC mine-wise? Like, is anybody even talking about over there? And out of the blue, a couple days before we dropped this nugget, one of my suppliers, a very trusted one that we have done a large volume of sales through, they said, hey, aren't you looking for this? And we're like, yeah. And so, leaked it out to our Discord channel. For those that are not in our Discord channel, this week alone has been just a great time to be in our Discord area. Like ever since the bull run really ended, it's kind of been dead in there. But this week, I swear,
post it in chat. Post it in chat. Make sure somebody does it. One of you guys post it in chat. Yeah. So I don't even know how I saw this. I can't remember if it was Twitter or if it was an email. I forget where you guys originally dropped the first information on it when it was a lower price at first. Where was that at originally?
So that was an email blast that John
email
did.
Blast. Yep. Yeah, John. Thanks, John. So quick story. I'm on the way to a family vacation home. It's not my house. I don't have that kind of money. I'm on the way to a family vacation home. And I get this email blast. I'm like, shit. So I'm like, all right, great. So I have my wife drive. And in the meantime, I'm messaging these guys. And I'm like, I want one. Put me down for one. I'm buying one type of deal. And then it's like, all right, great. So the whole time I'm on my phone, in the car, trying to, chat with these guys. All right, put me in. Da, da, da. So you could blame these guys. I haven't told anybody yet, but I bought a multi-miner M2 FPGA. And I am super excited for it because I'm coming to the Caspa game super late. So when I get it in, I can blame you guys for it and be like, it's your fault. I got it. Yeah, so I'm definitely hyped for that as well. I think that'll be great. Maybe that'll be the first miner I put in the new shed. Maybe that'll be the first one we put there, which will be pretty cool. But yeah, the efficiency, even now, I was doing the math on this a little bit. 10.5 gigahash. At 1300 watts. So I think what I did was I did some math on this and it was like, okay, so a 3070 does let's just round it to 500 mega hash, right? So if you take 10,000 divided by 500, that means you need 20 3070s, okay? Now 20 3070s actually comes out to right around that 1300 mark when it comes down to watts. So that's null and void. So we won't worry about watts. But let's say you get a 3070 for at best, let's say $300. Let's say you get it at best for $300. That means 20 times 300 is $6,000, people. This thing is what? What is the cost now for the multi-miner M2? What's the cost now on your site?
It's just under 2,400.
2,400 versus 6,000. Now, I know it's 20 3070s you can do everything with. Got it. all right, so let's say you took your 6,000 and divided it by 2 because you're like, all right, let's just make it 3,000. You're still cheaper. Like, so yeah, so that's why I pulled the trigger on it. Call me crazy. Blame these guys when they dangle something. When they dangle something shiny in front of me, I'm like, yeah, gotta take it.
Consider this also, like, this machine isn't a one-time use. And that's the reason why when John made the flyer,
I saw that.
He put the other coin. So that's just bit streams that are supported right now. That doesn't mean that that's going to be the end of the bit streams. And we don't know what the efficiency will be on, let's say they make a bit stream for Dynex or, you know, something like that. Whatever the next hip coin is going to be, whatever. This machine will have further use for you down the road. And I think that's really its most
very different
factor. Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, it's still an FPGA. It is a high performance graphics card, and that's just something, you know, people have to keep in mind. We're a smaller company, and, you know, we don't tout that we have like this crazy following and you know, we move markets, things like
600 followers on Twitter. They got big following, boys. Don't let them lie. All right, don't let them lie.
Well, yeah, okay. but still, like, so we put the information out there. We're like, hey, dude, I'm pretty sure, hey guys, this is probably gonna last maybe through the weekend. Everybody needs to, you know, if you're gonna get one, just hit us up and we'll help facilitate it, right?
Yeah.
Not even 12 hours gone. And like we didn't expect it. It took over. As soon as we went to go to the manufacturer,
timing was beautiful. Timing was beautiful for you guys though too.
So we went direct.
We need to talk about price a little bit too. I mean, this was this machine came out in 2020, right? The M2 was developed in 2020. The machines that we had gotten our hands on were a test batch. At that lower tiered price, but because of the popularity that, you know, not just people that follow us and follow you, and the popularity that we were able to show for this machine, you know, the light bulb went off for this manufacturer and said, you know what, we're going to turn the printers back on for this machine. So after that initial batch was gone, you know, the minimum run that we had,
the one that lasted like an hour, I feel like it was like this big.
So all the machines that we're getting, you know, we told them, we said, look, keep the test ones, you know, keep the cheaper ones. We'll eat the cost. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to eat the cost for a lot of the cheaper ones that we sold. We're getting brand new manufactured equipment. These aren't miners from 2020. These are miners from 2023 that are manufactured for our customers. So, you know, it was a little bit of a hit for us, but we felt it was the right thing to do, just to make sure everybody got a good quality part that's been purchasing these machines from us.
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting because if you look at like for those of you guys, I put a link in chat earlier. I'll throw it back in there. You know, Caspa Dash. Okay, I mean, I'm a fan of Dash. Dash has some price discovery in there. I think it's like $57 or something like that. And then there's a few others I'm not familiar with. What's the black one with the green swoosh? The logo? These guys are like, no, I gotta look.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at the flyer.
It's all right. There's a few other ones that are on your flyer. What are we in 1995 dealing with like a yard sale flyer? It's like, let me look at my flyer. But Caspa, the Caspa numbers are not impressive. Like, they're not very good. So as you had said too, like my hope too is this machine becomes this multi-miner, kind of the name multi-miner, but that it can do more, you know, it is expanded upon because as you said, it's been around for a while. So I'm hoping different miners, different bit streams can get added to it. You know, maybe it becomes very diverse, which is definitely my interest there. Oh, somebody says it's Digibyte. Okay.
Yeah, Digibyte's on there.
Okay. Thank you, Retro Mike.
Cadena's on there because this machine was built when Cadena was in its craze before ASICs really hit the network for Cadena. That's why there was a test batch and then it didn't exist again because ASICs hit the network and this thing was in the midst of launching. So it's not very efficient with Cadena, especially with where, you know, the KA3 is really, you know,
well, where it is now. I mean, if you go back a year ago, it was a totally different story, and that's I think the biggest thing there. So yeah, so right now 2400 is what it runs for right now, but these are batched, right? Is that my understanding? Like now it's like you buy it now and it's, what is it? Are we on a May batch? Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, so if anybody buys it, if they have bought it since this initial pre-sale and going forward, we're looking at end of April, delivery in May for the time being. Probably as we get closer to the end of April, it'll be the next following. So built in May, delivery in June, so on and so forth. Pretty similar to how the E9 is now, because the E9 for the most part, the E9 Pro, I should say, has been sold out in most
That thing is
places.
awesome. That thing, I have one right now. It's not mine. I'm testing it with another brand, and that thing's awesome. Like ridiculous. Like it actually is 2100 watts of the wall, and just like that thing I put it on Mineable and just stack coins left and right because it does so well. It's crazy.
You know, we have a client that wants to put theirs on Mineable, and I'm having trouble actually doing that. So if you could share.
Well, I know somebody. Oh, okay. Who might be able to help you out. You know, he's new though, so I don't know. I wouldn't trust him too much, but you know, yeah, I could shoot you my screenshots for everything, get you hooked up. I even give you my referral code. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah, we have a client that in mind. They want to do the same exact thing.
Yep.
They want to point it and get paid out in Caspa, so they firmly believe in the project just as much. Yeah, so
that's exactly what I'm doing. I literally have the E9 Pro on Caspa, and it's doing so well on Caspa right now. It's crazy.
Nice. Yeah. So I've been messing with it on Mineable, the way that they have things set up. It's a great company, right? But it's just like trying to get it set correctly so it can connect to their stream it can be difficult. Even on a GPU rig, it can be difficult.
Not all miner, not all. So Bitmain is really interesting. Bitmain doesn't like their syntax requirements for their fields are very, very particular. And actually, I hit up the guys from Luxor yesterday because I've been testing their firmware on my S19j Pro, and I wanted to swap that to unmineable, and their firmware does not allow you. It literally has a syntax error. Like, it doesn't like the way, because those of you guys not familiar, when you put in your worker name, you literally put in CAS, like if you wanted it to convert CAS colon, then the Caspa wallet is CASPA colon and then a long string, and the syntax that they have in place is like, I don't like it. So literally you can't do it, but you can do it on their API side. And I was even talking to their lead developer, and I'm like, I'm not messing with an API. I'm like, fix it in your next update and make it work in your software. There's no reason why you can't. So they're like, all right, we're going to add it to our thing. But yeah, I mean, totally understandable in that regard with the E9. The E9 I have on Unmineable. And I was actually talking with Ren. He's one of the main guys over at Unmineable. And I said, hey, I want you to add Nexa to Unmineable as another option for people, because I want to stack it with my E9 Pro. And so he actually had asked about Caspa. Him and I talked about Caspa the other week, and I was like, add it, and not only as an algorithm, but also as a payout, because like people in these situations. So yeah, you might as well. I mean, 100%, which is awesome. So yeah, we'll get you hooked up with that, which will be super, super cool. So do you think the Caspa hype's gonna last? Do you think? I mean, it dipped yesterday, and was it yesterday? It dipped a little bit because I was reading somewhere where like the top 10 or top 4 wallets had liquidated like 1 million Caspa each or something.
It was about 13 wallets.
Yeah. That's what caused it. It had to.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and you know, I'm sure they still have a crap ton of Caspa. No, I really think. And John may have a different opinion, but I really think that Caspa right now is still in bear. So my ideal initially was roughly about 16-17 cents come bull market. But now that we've already hit 4 and we're tickling the bear at this point, or not the bear, the bull. I
want to tickle the bull.
Maybe even more.
Come on now. No, you know what? That's great. That's great. I mean, I think it's all no one knows more than anyone else does here. It's all speculation in that regard. So take it as it is. I mean,
we have this scroller on our streams where we're not financial advisors. We're not.
I don't say that. I go, guys, you're watching YouTube. I know nothing. I'm like, stop taking advice from stupid people on YouTube. That's what I tell people. I'm like, I'm not saying that crap. I'm like, this is YouTube. Get out of here. Like, come on now. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting on Caspa. Like, I have a video dropping tomorrow, and one of the things I even say in that video is that, you know, I made the mistake I heard of Caspa back in November, December. I did nothing about it, and now I'm in catch-up mode. And it's like the people that got in early, like back in November, December, it was like, remember back then it was just like a new spec coin was like every other week. It was like this coin and this coin and this coin. And I was like, oh, I need to move there and get a little bag. And it was like, I'm not playing that. I was tired of playing that game. I was like, I'm not chasing profitability. It's really silly. So, yeah, I mean, I hope Caspa does well, 100%. I mean, I got 99% of my farm on Caspa right now in some avenue or another between GPUs and ASICs and conversions and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens from there. So somebody in chat, Gordon had a question. Do you guys know with the multi-miner what FPGA is actually in there? Or is it actually this like M2? Is that the chassis or is that the FPGA?
The M2 is just a chassis. It's just the brand that they gave the actual machine. We don't know what it is yet, and based on the conversation, so with our suppliers, we don't speak Mandarin. Luckily, we just got introduced to somebody that does speak very well Mandarin. It's actually from the region where most of these suppliers sit, or brokers, but there's a language barrier there, right? And so we ask these questions, and sometimes they don't know because they're literally sitting at a desk, and this is just a computer with a name. And they don't even know what they're selling. So in some cases, so the language barrier there, we don't know exactly what the FPGA is. My assumption is it's some generic ''𝗟ci FPGA because ''𝗟ci in that region is very popular. Obviously, Bitmain, all their breakout boards, they're not breakout boards, they're control boards for the most part, except for these S19s that has just been a crap show, has always been some type of BeagleBone or 𝗟ci board that does some form of FPGA process as it boots up on the control board. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But again, once we get it, John's going to break it apart. And he's
not a boy, John. Take it apart. See what the hell's inside.
Show the whole world what it is and how it works. So, the hobbyists can come in and build one themselves.
Oh, when I get mine in, I'm taking that thing apart in 2 seconds. You better believe it. It's so funny, like these companies when they send hardware and stuff like that, and it's like, dude, I'm taking this thing apart for day one. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's like what I do, like this is what we do. We're home miners, it's kind of how we get by, which is so funny, which is cool. So, well, that's exciting. So, something I was going to do is, if you guys want to fire questions in chat, just at me, and we'll take them as a group. If you guys aren't familiar, this is John and Mark from the team over at Coastal Crypto Mining. If you guys are coming in late, there's about 126 of you guys in chat. Mark and John, chat. John, you came in late. I didn't get to introduce you to the chat. We got to say hi. I didn't get to do that originally. So fire your questions in chat. A topic I want to talk with you guys about a little bit is something that I have noticed and a lot of people have talked about is Goldshell being behind the ball when it comes down to efficiency. And it's really starting to shine. I was thinking about this today. I was like, man, Goldshell is literally just like selling old tech. Like they're not even innovating. They're just taking their old stuff. Like a good example, any of the, I don't even call them mini ASICs, the 2 series we'll call them. They're literally just like the originals just beefed up and overclocked and run super hot and don't run well. And they're just reselling them. It seems like Goldshell is really going downhill in that regard from efficiency. And I've also heard from the customer support side, which I talk to people almost every day that are like, this ran for 15 minutes and now it doesn't. And Goldshell wants $200 to send it back to fix it. And it's like, wait, what? Like, screw that. We're in the Amazon mentality. It doesn't work. Give me a new one. I'm not playing that game. So what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about is, are you guys noticing that Goldshell has really fallen behind the ball and just isn't innovating versus we've seen like Jazzminer, more and more efficiency, more and more hash rate, and Bitmain. I mean, Bitmain left and right, the current Bitmain era right now. I mean, everything they come out with is just blowing it away. So from your perspective as resellers, are you guys seeing that from the Goldshell side?
Yeah. I hate them. I mean, we can go back even before the little box miners, to the LT5s, LT5 Pros. They're just the quality of parts that are on them are either hard to replace and repair, or they just completely shit the bed and they're gone and they're toast. And then you have the little box miners, which are literally they're taking components from the LT5s and some of the bigger miners and cutting the boards in half and shoving them in the box miners. There's really no difference if you take it down. You look at the bare minimum of the chips inside the chipsets. It's I don't know, that maybe they bought a bulk batch of chips and they don't know what to do with them, so they're tossing them in whatever they can find. I mean, we even went as far as to design a cooling duct for some of the mini box miners to try to help.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Because we have a number of them in the farm. We have a few hosts that have, I don't know, 20, 30 of these little box miners.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So you try to stack them, you try to move them around, you try to get airflow, but the fans go the wrong way for then everything else.
It's a mess.
So, I'm not happy with it. I did like Gold Shell. I like the way their GUI is. I like the X6. I like the X5. The way you can overclock and tune with inside the GUI. But once they got to the LT5 series, I think it went downhill, and they just stopped innovating. They stopped worrying about efficiency, and it just tanked on them.
Yeah, the current series now that they're really pushing, like you can tell, like they're no longer like really selling the original box series, and now they're pushing to the 2s. And like, man, I've seen resellers really struggle with this because I've seen all different wonky ass power supplies that come with these. So I've seen ATX power supplies come with these, which they're not, the ATX cables are not built for this, or the connectors. So they're melting connectors, which are killing these things because they're not made for it. They don't have like the 16 gauge cabling with it and all. And then I've seen some of these guys, and I can't believe they're doing it, some of these resellers, or what they're getting. They're taking a server power supply, like a Dell or a Light-On one, and then they're actually soldering a bunch of PCI cables to it. And then they're taking liquid electrical tape and covering that solder.
Yeah.
And then they're like, here's your power supply. And it's like, what the shit is this? Like, I talk to people in my chat. I'm like, throw that out right now. I'm like, and buy yourself a 1200 watt power supply with a breakout board and quality 16 gauge cables and use those. Because it's like,
we
you're
were
just asking for a fire.
Ones. Yeah, we were getting those server ones from suppliers. They were coming in boxes.
I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I have one just to laugh about it. I will never use it. With like the liquid electrical tape and the solder, these like cheap, like, you're lucky if they're 18 gauge PCI cables.
Yeah. Anytime we talk to somebody that wants to buy them, or we just have a general conversation with anybody, we tell them, like, don't use any power supply. Do not buy the Gold Shell power supply that's on our website. Like, it's not good. Grab some type of server supply and a breakout board, and then go and get some type of cables, chain critical, veteran miner, some quality cables that will actually handle the wattage that's coming through it, especially these box 2 ones, because you're looking at 400 watts in hash rate mode. And in some cases, if you have inefficient power, let's say somebody's on, knob and tube, right? 110, 100. And they're not running at 400 watts at that point. They're probably closer to 5. And those cables are not going to handle, and just generic cables are not going to handle it. So you need something quality.
I had a guy in chat today, actually, in my Discord, where they actually had one of their ends actually brown entirely on that connector. And chatting with them, they got their PCI cables from Amazon, and on there the challenge is like they market them as 16 gauge, but they're not even 16 gauge. You're lucky if they're 18 gauge. And so the challenge is actually, I had this originally when I first started to work with Veteran Miner. Great guy. Go check him out, guys. The Veteran Miner, for his website. He makes custom cables. I had this issue. So what I started to do was I got one of those laser temperature readers, and I put it on the connector when it's plugged in. And the one that was overheating was getting to 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the cable was not actually 16 or 18 gauge. And so what was happening is it was getting so hot, it was causing that to melt and brown, and it actually would melt around it and stuff. And it's like, I'll be honest, and I always yell at home miners, because I'm a home miner, I know how it is. You cheap out on all the essential parts and support parts, but you spend all the money on GPUs and ASICs. And it's like, dude, guys, why do we cheap out on these things? Because they make us no money, but they'll cause a fire. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I learned quickly. I almost burned my house down with a 3090 because I was trying to do splitters from Amazon and things like that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And all of a sudden I smell just like this electrical smell, and I'm like, what is going on? And come to find out, I have sparks in a small little room where I had my first one of my first rigs just sitting in there, and luckily the 3090 survived, but those splitters, I have pictures of it on one of our socials somewhere. Yep. It's like, here, I almost burned my house down, guys. Lesson learned.
Quick story on my shed. After I got my shed set up, and I'm like, fully like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on type of deal. One night, I hear a smoke alarm going off, and I will not tell you how fast my ass went down the steps, out my basement door to my shed, pouring rain in my boxers to check to make sure there wasn't a fire. I mean, I don't know how fast my body moved, but I was out there so damn fast. And then it was one of those situations where like a smoke alarm like goes off or chirps a little bit because the battery's like running out or whatever. But oh my gosh, like my biggest fear as a home miner is absolutely that. Like it's like, oh my gosh, like fire is just it drives me nuts, which is insane. So I got 3 questions. Go ahead. What do you got, John? And then we'll jump into questions. What do you got?
You touched upon home miners being cheap. Buying the cheap
100%.
stuff, right?
Damn home miners! How dare they?
Let's take it from your namesake, right? Hobbyist Miner. Let's take it to the next step. You can buy high heat cable, right, on spools, 2 colors. That's all you need. You can buy the cheap tools for the PCIe express pins, and you can buy all of the PCI connectors. You can get all of this for like maybe $20.
John, that's a lot of work, John. It's easier for me to go online and just order it. Like, John, come on now. Like, do I look like I have time to make cables? Like, come on now. I'm the same guy who knows how to make Ethernet cables. I'm like, screw it, I'm buying them because I don't have time to sit there and crimp those ends. I mean, man,
nice.
Yep. So a few questions that came in, which is awesome. First one came in from, first off, Hawk Crypto Mining. Thank you for your donation earlier. Shout out to the Coastal Crypto guys coming to hang out. Mark and John. Thank you, Hawk Crypto. Second question came in from Blue Bison. I have other questions too. Ignoring profitability, which project do you prefer? Caspa or Flux? I will go last. What do you guys got?
Caspa.
You got to give a why though. You can't just say a statement. Give a why. Come on now. They didn't come all this way. They didn't journey across the land to hear a one word answer.
Blocks per second is king, and that is relevant right now. I know that we're not the only ones that say or think that. There are other channels out there that have been saying that since the inception of Caspa. So I think that will it be like the next Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever? The word's out on that, right? But what they're doing is relevant to the scene. And honestly, once they go to Rust, they are in a different ballpark, and they're now playing with titans that would be Visa and MasterCard. So it's relevant. It's a relevant conversation. I have my own issues with Flux, and we mine it. I will tell you, full transparency, we mine Flux. Only have one. Yeah.
Wait, I thought you were ASIC farm. I thought you had ASICs everywhere. You got some GPUs in there too?
Yes. So half of let me rephrase that. It used to be this way. It's not that way anymore. 1/3 of our farm is all ASICs. The other the other portion of it is GPUs.
How dare you? You lied earlier. You lied.
Well, we do. We have a lot of ASICs. I started off as a GPU miner. That's how I started my journey into all of this. We've stayed that path for the most part, especially as like the bear market came through. But my biggest gripe with Flux is that they claim to fix everything.
That's what they target. They're trying to solve a problem. It's kind of their like main focus. Yeah.
Oh well, every problem it seems like. I'm just gonna put that out there. But
I have dinner with Daniel Keller. I have dinner with Daniel Keller in 2 weeks, so that's why I'm like, take it all in. I want to hear it. Let's go.
So well that's my issue. I'd love to have a conversation with Keller and basically I'm like, okay, well, why do you think that? Why do you think it fixes everything? And get into more.
You guys aren't far. You guys aren't far. We're not far. We can make something work here. Come on now.
Yeah, John, you're gonna have to go for a road trip.
That's right.
But yeah, we mine it. The project itself, when you're looking at like just mining, is, you know, it's good. But again, Caspa itself, blocks per second, like that's relevant right now. It will be relevant in the bull. I think it's gonna have a lot more discovery, not just price, just in general. That will push it to its next stages.
Yeah, so it definitely, those of you guys aren't familiar, Caspa Rust, you're like, what is this? Is it Rust the video game? No. Rust is they're moving to a speed that is insane for, like, I transferred Flux from my core wallet to my Zelle core wallet the other day and it was like instant. Well, they're now taking their transaction speeds to the next level, to the point where it competes and is faster than Visa and MasterCard. So now it's like, okay, we have something that actually has real world use here. And, you know, it's insane. Like you can't be like, well, you know, traditional finance, you know, you're always going down the road of that. So this is something where maybe in a utopian world, Visa or MasterCard comes along and goes, I want to be on that. I want to do all my transactions on that blockchain. Like that's what could occur. So I just want to make sure people understand that's kind of what Rust is associated with. What about you, John? Come on, spit it out.
I have high hopes for Flux. I'm kind of in the same ballpark as for Flux. Yeah, for Flux. As Mark. But since Caspa came out, looking at the overall progression of it, I felt more comfortable with Caspa than I did with Flux.
Okay.
We saw the CPU, the GPU, FPGA, and now there's rumors of ASICs. So the way it's progressing technology-wise, and I'm more on the technology side of things. For, you know, I like tearing shit apart. I like, you know, knowing how things work. So how it's progressed with technology in terms of hash rate and difficulty, I like the way it's flowing. I like the way, you know, the math is adding up for Caspa. I want Flux to be there, but I don't see it. I don't, you know, and I could be wrong. I mean, we mine a little bit of everything. We try a little bit of everything. Caspa's been good to us. Like Mark said, we tried mining Flux. We mined Flux. We still mine Flux. But you know, I just don't think the technology's behind it yet. It could be. It could come. It could come tomorrow. I don't know. But you know, right now it's Flux. It's Caspa for us, or for me at least.
Yeah, so I would say for me, I am on the opposite side of things with Flux, only because I've been involved with the project for quite a bit. Caspa is like the new fun, you know, thing right now, where it's like everybody's on it. I get it. I get it. I mean, I'm a home miner. I'm chasing profitability. I mean, look at all of us. Flux for me is one of those where, as we had said earlier, where it's like, what are they solving? And I love seeing a project that has so many projects involved. Like when I look at Flux, there's so many things their team is doing. But I don't think they have one thing that's changing, like that is so instrumental that it affects, that it could be like a worldwide move. Like Visa could jump on Caspa because of the transaction speeds. And it's like, holy cow, like this is shattering right now. With Flux, I love the fact that they just went ahead and did, you know, they're pretty much with their WordPress platform. It's like, awesome. You're now cutting costs, which is great. You know, you're cutting those costs for hosting costs and things like that. And with their Flux drive and all of that with their nodes, which is awesome, is good. I think with Flux, which I think is where your guys' mindset is coming from, is like Flux's project, and correct me if I'm wrong, needs like a home run. They need like a home run, like Caspa's doing with the transaction speeds, in order to all of a sudden be like, oh my gosh, like, you know, at the end of the day, the project that gains mainstream media attention and affects an industry is really what's going to be that next ETH, I feel like.
No, honestly, it's not that they need a home run. I think it's that they need to get their ADD in check, and they need to focus.
There's too many irons in the fire. There's not enough room to fire with.
Exactly. So their big whole thing right now, and has been for, you know, since Flux has been Flux, is proof of use of work. And they're claiming that they do it now already. Like they're claiming the proof of useful work already. Not that they're doing it, but that it's theirs. And it's not. It's not yet. They're not doing it, so why claim it? And that's been probably my biggest struggle since they did that. And it almost feels like a situation where you took a Twitter account and gave it to someone that didn't deserve it.
Must be talking about Ethereum Classic. I got it. Yeah, so I think with so what you're saying is really, hey, drop all your projects you're working on, focus on proof of useful work, because
you don't have to drop them.
Well, what I mean by that,
you need to
correct
tunnel vision.
The industry is moving to the need for proof of useful work faster than the project for Flux is moving, is what you're saying. So like, I can agree with you. ChatGPT is a great example, and all these other AI projects, they need that proof of useful work platform yesterday. Like, it needed to be ready to go and to be used yesterday, not a year from now, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Good to know. I like it. So next question here. Let's see. Comes from Hashforce here. What is your guys' opinion on how these coin switching payout pools will affect mining? I'm feeling like coin-specific miners are not as necessary. What are your thoughts?
I've always been for them.
On Mineable, that would be like 2 miners. That would be like now NiceHash as of yesterday. NiceHash now allows you to get paid out in any cryptocurrency you want, which is nice versus Bitcoin. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I've always been for them. I think I made a video back in 2019 for pro hashing. One of the first, double payout, or pick the coin you want to be paid out in, no matter what machine you hook it up to it. I like them. Whether they're going to make specific machines irrelevant, or I don't know. It's tough to say. The fees are what gets me. I mean, when it comes down to a pool, no matter what pool you're on, it's going to be who's got the lowest fees. So.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with, especially for GPU mining, is what really takes hold, at least in my eyes, when seeing other GPU miners and things like that, all they talk about at the end of the day is profitability. So what's going to be more profitable? So if Caspa ends up being the next Ethereum, everybody's going to go to a pool that pays out the best rate of Caspa, so they can convert it to whatever they want, if they're going to convert it, or they're going to hold that bag, right? These profit switching pools, these where you can select your own coins and things like that, they're great, and we use them. Like we have an X6 that pays us out in Crow because we're trying to do some things with crypto.com and figure out some testing in that little arena. We have we have some of our hosts that want to use it on Mineable. We've used Unmineable for other things. So it's not that we don't use them and we don't like them. It's just they're going to be there, and they're going to be great for times like now, the bear market, where you can stack different coins. But at the end of the day, profitability will win for the majority, because in most cases, when you're crypto mining, most of these people, and I'm sure you'll get some outrage in your comments, they don't care about the project. Nobody cared about Ethereum.
Chasing profitability,
they're just chasing profitability. So people that like the project, they're going to find a way to just mine it solely. If they're looking for profitability, they're just going to go to the pool that profits the most.
Yep. No, well said. I like it. That totally makes sense. So question here, another one here from Trillion Capital here.
He got us in trouble with our last video. Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Do you see GPU mining being almost made irrelevant by these FPGAs?
No.
There you go. Bam. Answer done.
No. GPU mining will always be here. Everybody thought GPU mining was going to be dead when Ethereum went proof of stake. It's still here. People are still GPU mining. Hobbyist has some 580s running somewhere. Right?
Hell yeah. I got my 580s in the garage right now.
Yeah.
50 watts on Caspa. Brought them out of the basement.
We have a rig of 584 gigs on Ravencoin until they can't mine Ravencoin in July. So it's, we're using them.
Oh, really? So does the DAG file change in July for Ravencoin?
Yep.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Man. Okay. Now, I don't have anything on Ravencoin, but it's just like, okay, just realized that. Yeah, I mean, I think so. FPGAs are just FPGAs always seem to follow a project. Like they're not in the
Yeah.
infancy of a project. They always come to a project after profitability exists. And where GPU miners and mining comes in is you're always able to get to a proof of work project early because you can pivot
you can
to it.
spec
That's
mine,
the
right?
benefit. Exactly. That's the benefit of GPU mining. And that's why some people will not buy ASICs and won't buy FPGAs. They just buy it. Like, as I was talking about, do you buy 20, 30, 70s or do you buy the multi-miner M2?
Well,
And
and,
it's
and
like,
another thing
you know-
too, you have to think about with new projects that emerge, FPGAs need a bit stream to mine that project.
Has to
So
be
then you need
developed
to
on
get
first, yeah.
Yeah, you got to get a developer, and so you got to pay for that developer, and they don't work for free. I've yet to find a developer that wants to work for free. So,
Yep.
that time, effort, they got to build a bit stream. There's just a lot more into play with FPGAs than just, Hive OS with your graphics card, Windows with your graphics cards.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have anything to add, John, or no? Ready for the next question? Awesome. Okay. So, Subsided Monster, could I perhaps host a miner for you for 1% because I don't pay electric? So, as I said at the top of the stream, I'm building a second shed, so I don't need anybody to host anything for me. But I did think about hosting before I decided to go the additional shed route at another property. I started to think about hosting because I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ASICs on the way at some point, including this FPGA that these guys made me buy. No, I'm just kidding. So I have those all on the way, so I need to put them somewhere. And I thought about hosting. I honestly did. I started to think about, okay, like who can I host with? I want to host, and now I don't need that. So I appreciate the offer, but I'll be adding to that, which will be good. So guys, we'll take maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Getting late, already 11:30, past my bedtime. Not really.
My beer is empty.
Yeah, that's right. Mine's empty. I got like a little splash left in my cup here. My
Make
beverage
sure I
is.
grab a couple.
Yeah,
So
smart man. So usually I grab 2, but I hate drinking anything warm, so I'm always like, hang on, gotta go. So yeah, guys, feel free post in chat at me if you guys have any questions specifically. If you guys are coming to the stream late, make sure you guys go back and watch the beginning of this. It was good. We talked a lot about their farm expansion, what they're doing, why they're doing it, my farm expansion, why I'm doing it, and stuff like that. Some really good stuff early on in the stream, all before John came on. Just keep that in mind. We'll see where that goes from here.
Working late at the farm,
Yep, that's right. 100%, 100%. Which is, I think, good. Something I heard today was interesting, and I'm interested to follow up on it. Somebody was telling me they're actually earning more solo mining Caspa right now. Have you guys heard this? Than actually pool mining Caspa?
Yeah, up until the recent difficulty spike, so were we. I think you can still mine directly to a node at about 10 gigahash, and you'll get decent payout, but you're taking that risk for luck. We were solo mining for the longest period of time up until last month, I think, John. Yeah. And then
what was that? What was that
to,
hitting on a block? What was that block reward? Do you guys remember?
Initially it was like 400, but then it eventually got down to like 250.
Yeah. Dang, that's incredible, man. I'm so late to the game on Caspa.
Honestly, what I would really like is this new ASIC that's emerging. It's roughly about 30 gigahash on one machine.
Wow.
You can still solo mine at around 30 gigahash. So I would really like to attempt to solo mine right to a node and utilize that machine that way.
Okay, interesting. And are most people running like in that situation? Are you just doing like a home node? Like you're just running a localized node then?
Yeah, we would. So we would put it on one of our server cases and things like that.
Yeah, nice. You guys have mentioned on that note. You guys have mentioned earlier about your new facility doing like a data center setup. Are you guys looking to go more the node route, or like what's the value for the data center for you guys?
Oh,
go ahead, John.
Taxes.
Virginia. Virginia has a great up and down the East Coast. There's a number of states that do it, but there's tax incentives for hosting data facilities. So we're in the works doing our research to get our actual data center license. which would give us tax exemption to a certain point.
Wow.
So it's just kind of a way where we can stay in business longer, kind of diversify our portfolio, and allow us to keep doing the things that we like to do and have fun with crypto. It's a means to an end, but it's definitely something that we feel would benefit the company and benefit the people who have helped us out and get to the point where we are.
That's cool. Yeah, man. Where's the tax incentives for crypto miners? Like, come on now. When's that coming?
Dude,
let's go.
I'm pretty sure we could do a whole docu-series of what it's like to be in a business as a crypto company that actually took a crypto in their name. Like, I think our biggest mistake as a company is
putting crypto in your name.
Yeah. So we've been unbanked.
You can always rename. Let's be honest here.
We thought about it, and it's still on the radar, but we've established a brand. The brand's here. Yeah, Johnny's like, no, but it's on there. It's just we've established a brand at this point, so it's like we take it. So me and John have been funding our company out of pocket. Like we don't have investors. We don't take on debt. So the fact of it's just us growing the way that we are is we've been fortunate with the people that have come to be hosts with us and help us grow. People that have been there with us from the beginning. And I mean, we're in this last week and a half with Caspa has been just insane. And probably it really spoke levels, at least for me, as to like why we're really doing this.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think this probably helps out with brand exposure as well, which is great. Like the Caspa and with FPGA and stuff like that. Like some brand exposure that didn't previously exist, I think was probably one of the big ones.
Oh yeah, and I pissed off 𝗟𝐬, so that kind of helped too.
How'd you piss off 𝗟𝐬? Come on, tell the story.
Well, I mean, anybody that comes like our channel or just associates with us in general in our community that we have, that we're slowly growing, they know that we like to mess around. Like we're just lighthearted. Me more than John, but and trolling,
John's like, actually
no, John's actually really about the same. I shouldn't even say that, but just shit posting on Twitter constantly and things like that. It's just having fun, right? Somebody that happens to be in your chat right now, I made mention of him earlier, asked to comment on our last live, or not this last live stream, the stream before, and we're half-assing YouTube when it comes to like how we're doing content, and so basically we just take clips from our live stream and throw them on as a video. I put a clickbait title, 𝗟𝐬 is a scam, and threw it up. Did not tag 𝗟𝐬. Other than saying 𝗟𝐬 is a scam, that's all we did. And we don't have a big following. We don't have a lot of subscribers, things like this. So we weren't really trying to provoke the crowd.
Poke the bear.
Yeah. Put it out on YouTube. It was doing okay. And then I always share every video that we post right onto Twitter. And then it just escalated from there. And
nice.
Yeah. We were called some lovely things over the last few days after putting that video out. So,
oh boy, okay.
It was.
Hey, welcome
great.
welcome to the content creator sphere, where you have to have a hardened skin because you gotta remember your commenters know everything, and they're the mentality of your customers are 100% right is BS. Those are the people where you just gotta read it. You gotta read those comments and go, all right, move on. Next one. Like, trust me.
No, you don't even know. I couldn't have enough popcorn to just watch everything unfold. And then on top of it, because of just the nature of who I am, especially on Twitter, I'm responding back to these people.
Nope, you can't. Nope, can't. That's where you went wrong.
I'm turning the gears even more, and they're just, it escalated a little bit out of control. John's sitting here, he's like, you're just loving everything, all of this. And I'm like, I can't not. This is amazing. I
always type out a response, and then I don't send it. Like I'm one of those guys. Like, oh, and then I'm like, no, I'm not giving them. I'm not giving it to them. I'm not giving in. I'm like, delete it. I'm like, screw them. I'm not even going to respond to anything. And then I'm always like, I hope one of my community members comes in and shits all over them in the comments. And then sometimes it happens and I'm in the background. I'm like, yeah, way to go. Because I'm like, once you go down that avenue, it's like, oh, man, comments are rough. Comments are the worst thing. Like, I would love to be a channel that just disables comments. But then I would have 1/10 of my subscribers because they want to comment on every video. Yep.
I loved it.
I love the comments. It's always been about joining the conversation with them.
I responded to every single one of them, whether it be just like a thank you or just some random thing or something just to turn the knob just a little bit more, like whatever it was, just to have more fun. That whole community doesn't know how much excitement and fun I had with all of it unfolding, and them being a bunch of never mind, them being
awesome. I like it, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up now. We're about 11:40 right now. I still got a video to finish up tomorrow. Don't have to record it, just have to edit it. But anyways, Mark, John, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming out. This was a lot of fun. It was just like, hey, let's just do a live stream and see where it goes.
Yeah,
it was fun. Sorry I came late. You know.
You know what? You're lucky I put your face on the screen because you came late. All right, you're lucky. Absolutely, guys. Go over and check them out. You guys can feel free to post your social. I know you guys are pushing your Twitter a lot, trying to grow that. Post that in chat, please. Post up your website, your Discord. People are asking for your Discord. They're like, where do I find the Discord? Make sure you guys do put it in chat. Guys, I am live every Thursday, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Come on out. It's not usually this. It's usually me cleaning GPUs or building a mining rig. But if you guys enjoy this, please let me know. We'll continue to go down that avenue. John, Mark, thank you guys very much for joining me today. I do appreciate it. Chat, as always, you guys are awesome. Look for a video tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. We're out. Take care. Later.